Hi, welcome to the Central Careers Hub vlog, and today we're going to be looking at the Apprenticeship Levy. Now, as careers advisors, we're picking up quite a lot of noise about the Apprenticeship Levy, but a lot of it's to do with sort of figures and facts about funding issues. And as careers advisors and teachers in the careers advice space, we're very concerned much more about how it's going to affect the people we're talking to and how we get them onto apprenticeships still, what apprenticeships exist, all these sorts of issues. And I'm very pleased today to say that I've got Dee Ellison with us, who's the Chief Operating Officer for Just IT Training, one of the largest tech apprenticeship providers in London. And I've got some more very sort of career-specific questions for Dee, and hopefully Dee's going to help us with these questions.
Thank you.
So first of all, Dee, one of the things I'm sort of picking up, but I don't fully understand yet, is that the position with apprenticeships and people who've graduated from university seems to be changing. Could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a balancing of the recognition where graduates can add value into the workforce and not necessarily where they've set their sights in their degree. So the funding has certainly, the landscape has widened. There are still requirements, specifically around doing a similar qualification in the same arena as your degree won't be allowed unless it's fundamentally to a level above. So if you did a level 6 degree equivalent, you could still do an apprenticeship in your area, but you would have to do it to level 7.
Right, so this is really interesting. So let's say somebody's been to sixth form, done A-levels, and then done a degree in history. Okay, so finished their degree in history. Could that graduate then apply to Just IT Training to do a level 3 apprenticeship in digital marketing?
The devil's always in the detail, as you would expect from anything that's government funded. But the principle is yes, fundamentally the learning is very different to the existing learning. Yeah. So the government is saying that what they're looking for is to support individuals' career path progress, and that might mean career changing, or it might mean career development from a higher level to what they've already achieved.
Right. Okay, so this is extremely interesting, because as a careers advisor myself, still working in the schools, I'm now thinking, okay, will some employers now say they want to ditch the traditional 16 to 18-year-olds? Will they go, oh, let's have a graduate rather than a sixth form leaver? What do you think about that?
I think it's a balance. The levy is aimed at a very specific size of employer with a workforce and a PAYE value. So those employers may well choose to take on graduates through the apprenticeship pathway, but of course they've got to be able to accommodate a different salary expectation for a graduate's need compared to a 16 to 18-year-old who has little skills by comparison in both experience of wider interaction as well as technical competence. But the levy is only going to affect a certain cohort of employers. The smaller employers with a real key niche area in their business will welcome the advantage of taking on a 16 to 18. They bring new and fresh ideas. They have a salary expectation that is different. So there will always be a route for both graduates and 16 to 18s.
Right, you've relaxed me there on that, because I was worried about that. Now, I can remember a few years ago, there was a situation where we had employers were taking on their existing staff. Now, I'm not going to name the name, but it was a large supermarket gained a reputation for doing this. How do we know this isn't going to happen again? What's different?
The funding rules. There is very, very specific requirement to demonstrate that the enhanced training an existing employee will gain has to be substantially different to the skill set and to the level of competence that they're currently at. This is not a tick box exercise about validating what you can already do. This is absolutely a requirement to demonstrate where is that individual now. So I was once a baker in a large supermarket chain, and now I've moved into that admin office within the same supermarket chain. Fundamentally, the career pathways are very, very different. The learn is substantially different, and that's why it will be funded.
Okay. And I was hearing something about that for training providers, they get extra money if they take on a STEM apprentice. Do you think that could affect so there becomes more apprenticeships in that STEM area and just ITs in that area? And there'll be less in other areas which are not STEM?
There's a two-pronged attack to that. The STEM area requires greater levels of investment in both resources, competency of the individual training, as well as the role itself. So I think the enhanced money that's going to STEM is to recognise the complexity that goes with an apprenticeship in that remit. However, I think with the levy being introduced, employers can use some of what we class as softer qualifications, the customer service, the business admin, as part and parcel of their method to induct new people. It could be part of their training plan for new employees as a way of getting them into an in-house module delivered through the new standards.
Yeah, okay. Now, as a careers advisor, not totally in the world of apprenticeships, you sort of see things as an outsider. And you hear about these terms like trailblazers, and these are sort of connected to big employers. And you see the adverts on the telly, and it's all about the same sort of employers, big brands. But in reality, is that going to be the case? Will all these apprenticeships be working for these big brands, or will they actually be working for SMEs?
Okay, so we have two emerging changes in government. One is around the method of funding an apprentice, which is using levy, a tax. And then there are new products that we've been introducing, which are called Trailblazer Standards. The standards were contributed by all sides of employers. So when we sat on a panel and we identified what does a good software developer look like, we took the views across 15 different sizes of employer. So we took a balanced view on what an employer would be expecting the candidate to work through and what they would have as a skill base when they became a software technician. So the Trailblazer is a new product, it's a new qualification set driven by all sides of employers.
Okay, so it doesn't mean everybody's going to be working for Google?
Absolutely not. Trailblazers will apply to any employer that wants to take on an apprentice, no matter what their size is.
Yes, okay. As I know myself with my own son, doing an apprenticeship in software with a small company and being very happy and learning loads doing that on his software development apprenticeship. Okay. And as careers advisors, we're often dealing with issues around GCSE, maths and English. Is anything changing there?
No, that particular agenda is replicated and continued to be a focus by the government. The levy money that is not drawn down by the employer base within 24 months will be added to the educational part. So in fact what I think we might see is some initiatives specifically around maths or English, less so ICT, because most of the world is more advanced in their knowledge of ICT, and therefore this funds will be used to enhance and support new initiatives to target either a specific local area need. Okay.
And what about traineeships? So traineeships are sort of growing in some ways and not in others. It seems sort of all a bit over the place. But is this affecting traineeships?
Not at all. Traineeships is a very, very different cohort of candidates, and as careers advisors you will understand that there is an inherent need to support this group of individuals that have aspirations but are a little further away from realising those aspirations. Traineeships is still high profile from a government. Having gone through recent Ofsted inspection, I'm also aware that the Ofsted inspectors are keen to see good traineeship delivery and to recognise what good is.
So that's going to carry on as was?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Dee, it's been brilliant talking to you this afternoon.
Thank you very
And
much.
that's it for this week, and look forward to seeing you for the next Central Careers Hub vlog. See you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.